welcome to LadyGang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Keltie Knight, or shall I say ahoy?
Ahoy, matey.
Ahoy.
Honestly, we already recorded with Katie, and I'm ready to quit my job.
Dude,
Well,
I
Keltie-
picked the wrong thing. No, but you know what? Her job, that is too much stress. It's the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, the show, I'm never watching the show thinking that I want to have to do that job. Like, her lifestyle is amazing, and she travels
the 2 months
the world.
on, 2 months off is.
But when they're on, they're working their asses off, and they sleep like 3 hours a night. I would
Yeah, it's
never
crazy.
survive.
Well, and then just imagine the liability if somebody goes overboard or something happens.
I don't think that's Katie's fault.
Oh
No,
well, what
I
does that
think
have to do with her or somebody?
Honestly, I was talking to someone at work about her coming on the podcast, and they were like, oh my God. And they're like, by the way, you're not even allowed to I should ask her this. You're not even allowed to let someone, like, if they want to come out and smoke like a cigarette at like 2 a.m, they can't even do it alone. You have to be watching them at all times.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. 'Cause
Which when
there's-
I rented a catamaran in Panama,
Mhm.
I could do whatever I wanted. Nobody was watching me. So I don't know
well, you
if
didn't
that's
have
a
like
yacht.
a captain.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. They were like,
I
please
also,
jump
like-
overboard.
From what I've heard, the catamaran is like the poor man's yacht.
100%.
Is a catamaran the one that has like the flat top?
Yeah,
Or-
it's like flat
yeah.
and then 2 spools, and like the crew, aka one cook and the guy driving it, is on this side, and then your bed is this side. Honestly, it's the best vacation though, because I hate people, so there's no people. It's amazing.
Honestly,
Yeah.
but any boat. I mean, I'll take a little tiny sailboat. I feel like I'm on a yacht.
But I did remember I did that catamaran in the Seychelles that had 6 rooms, and there were strangers on it, and
Yeah.
I hated it.
And
Anyway,
a kid.
Yeah, I don't like
Didn't
that
someone bring
either.
their kid?
there was a child.
What?
Don't bring a child on my sexual vacation.
Terrible. Terrible.
They don't have an adults only version of that?
I didn't ask.
Oh my! Well, who
Idiot.
would have thought?
There were smokers and children.
You
and like,
just
you know,
had
when-
this happen to you again. When you were in Vietnam, you were around a water park with kids. You need to do better research as a childless wonder. I have a child, and I don't want to see a child when I'm on vacation
No.
without him.
It ruins it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well,
Well,
research, skimming the reservation
Skim.
would be my
skim,
love
skim,
language.
skim.
Skim,
All
skim,
right.
skim.
Hot skims.
It is time for
Good week,
Yes, it is.
bad week. Oh no.
I'll go first because it has something to do with travel.
Okay.
I was following someone on Instagram, and they took a picture of a lounge, an airport lounge in the UK, and they just screenshotted, or they took a picture of the sign right outside the lounge, and it says, "We do not allow themed or fancy dress outfits, clothes with slogans that may be offensive or may cause offense, hen/stag party t-shirts,
Oh my God.
sports shirts, including football shirts, beach flip-flops, clothing that exposes midriffs or upper thighs, vests."
Vest?
Not the vest.
The vest was really out of
Keltie,
left field.
You're not going to be allowed there. I feel like you have too many vests.
Just
One might
so-
pop up in your rotation.
Is this not the funniest, snobbiest, most incredible dress code you've ever seen?
That is
Not the
so,
vest.
This is in England. So they're really, number one, the no hen or stag party t-shirts. So they don't want your bachelor or bachelorette party group in there.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
those are never classy.
No.
So I understand that.
No, because this is for the This lounge is for the business traveler. This is
Right.
for the CEO of Ketchup, and
I feel like the UK is very vest friendly. I can't get off the vests. Everybody
know, I
loves
wanna
a
know-
3-piece suit.
Is it a puffer vest? Is it,
Oh.
I don't,
Is it a bedazzled vest like Keltie wears?
you can. By the way, I donated that. You're welcome, everyone. After all your hate last week, the vest thing, the UK LadyGang. Can you let us know what they mean by vests? Like,
Yeah, maybe we don't understand.
no, it said, so I just looked it up because I thought maybe in the UK there would be, it's like slang that we don't know.
vest means bra or something.
No, it says a vest is an upper body garment. Oh, no. A vest is what British call a waistcoat. Doesn't that seem like a place that
waistcoat.
doesn't allow beach flip-flops would welcome a waistcoat?
Yeah.
You would
Sounds
think.
very fancy.
I also
That's-
love that they don't want to see your midriff or your upper thigh.
Nobody
I
wants to
know.
see my upper thighs.
That's where I'd get in trouble. But I actually don't wear crop tops to the airport. But I would almost get in trouble if I was coming from like Mexico or something.
We've talked about it before on LadyGang. There are a lot
It's
of
a
bike shorts out there in the airport these days.
I would never.
Yeah.
I don't show any skin.
Yeah.
I'm like Becca at the airport.
Yeah.
Just like
You
covered
have to
head
be.
to toe.
Have to
Yeah. Too many germs.
be. Yeah. My bad week is I realized that we do something on LadyGang podcast that I find we're hypocrites for. So we
like everything.
everything. But we sometimes talk about such a right now, don't wear bike shorts at the airport, or I don't want to see your flip-flops, whatever.
Yeah, and then
But
we wear them.
Recently was watching Instagram and there was an explore something that came up, and it was Jenna Lyons, who I love, no shade, but she was talking about interior design because she's branching off into more interior design stuff in her career. And somebody asked her a question about TVs, and she had a response that I wanted to throw my phone across the room about.
Yeah.
She said something along the lines of, I don't want to be able to see your TV in a living room. I don't want to see it. I want it to be concealed, kind of alluding to like how rich people can have things lift up from a dresser or, you know, have the budget in your design to be able to hide your TV in a living room.
Well, and the way she said it is she was like disgusted. Like if your
Disgusted.
TV was showing in your living room, like you are
trash.
You are a troll. Yeah.
Yes. And so I was just thinking of all the times in LadyGang where I have poo-pooed certain things, and that I feel like I have to just apologize for ever sounding snobby, because she just sounded so snobby because she was giving these like hard and fast rules about interior design and suggesting that people spend thousands of dollars to not be garbage people. And so I don't remember, maybe me poo-pooing on designer fakes could be under this category.
I mean, listen, Becca, I don't want to start the list. We don't have time for that. But
Well, I was going to say the first thing that comes to my mind, maybe based on your list from the airport, is if you're going to give Southwest an apology.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the other thing. But see, this is where I stand firm with Southwest, okay? No.
she's doubling down.
I'm doubling down because
No apology.
Southwest, I fly Southwest and Delta pretty much like very often to LA, and it's never cheaper on Southwest. So
No.
this doesn't have to do with the affordability. I mean, with Jenna Lyons, that's why I'm mad. There's no affordable way to conceal your TV unless you throw a sheet over it. And it's just, so for me, I stand by my Southwest because I'm thinking, if you're going to be such a shitty airline, you should at least be cheaper.
Right.
Dude,
So
I was
100%.
looking up a flight to Phoenix recently. It was $600 on Southwest.
Yeah.
On Southwest. To
It's
Phoenix.
crazy. Well,
It's
I also
crazy.
think like I just, in Becca's defense, I think if we've been talking about life and lady life for, almost a decade at this point, if we don't talk about things freely that are, really itching our scratch right at the moment, we would have nothing to talk about.
That's what life is about.
What we need is the ability to change our minds. We can say something one week and then we can decide, like you know what I mean.
It's not written in stone.
No.
You know?
LadyGang is not a Bible. It's not Bible. It's just a
No, it's
thought
us
we
feeling
had
bitchy
passing
that-
while we were chatting with our friends. We may change our mind next week.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry if I've ever offended you. Jenna Lyons, she offended me, and now I know how it feels.
Yeah. That was rough. When I saw that, I was
You
like,
saw
no
it
way.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something like it should be hidden behind a fireplace. I'm like, how, Jenna? How? How?
I don't have a fireplace in my apartment.
And I rent, okay?
Yeah. Where am I concealing my TV? It's
So-
like the only place on the wall for anything.
Yep.
Okay. God
So there you
damn.
go. Who's up next?
I'll go. So you know that we love Clear Stem. over here
Yeah,
at LadyGang. We had the founders on our podcast a couple months ago. And when they were on, they work with this other company. I think they're called Rupa Health that does the blood test.
Yeah.
Wait, did you do it?
So I did the blood test. And it's basically like if you're having acne or concerns with your skin, it gets down to the root of what it was. So I did the blood test. And I mean, that's the good week is I'm taking control. I'm doing the thing. I did the blood test. I went into Quest Diagnostics or whatever.
Good girl.
So I got my results back. The bad news is, bad week, is I'm correct. It's all a fungus overgrowth in my gut. But I'm proud of myself because I self-diagnosed myself. I went to so many dermatologists and they're like, it's contact dermatitis. It's literally adult acne. It's all these things. And I'm like, I know it's not. I feel that it's this one thing. So I was correct. But I guess part of the good week is I got all of these supplements and I'm starting to take all of the supplements.
Yeah.
It's like 15 pills a day.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I can barely do it, but I'm like shoveling them down my throat. But the bad week also is there is a food framework that I'm supposed to follow.
It's
that
not
I won't
Mike's
be following.
Mondays.
Oh,
I was just about to say to you, I think processed meat, just in my gut instinctively, that's the thing that needs to go.
I can't.
You
can't
have
give
to.
up Mike's.
Well, what was on your list?
Okay, so I have the list. It says, while addressing fungal loads, avoid added sugar, fermented foods, which I'm keep going. Fermented foods, which is usually supposed to be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeast or yeast extract, kombucha, which I literally drink like every day.
Yeah.
Like I am.
So you've been feeding this.
I've been because anything fungal you don't.
Because you've been like, I want to get my gut right. Let me drink a kombucha every day, and it's literally feeding it. This was so interesting. Okay.
And then it says food-based mushrooms, which I guess shrooms, fungal, whatever.
Yeah.
But will I follow the food things? Probably not. I'll try a little bit. I'm trying to cut kombucha out, but I was right. And I feel really good about being right because you can't trust doctors these days.
Well, I think it's just sometimes you know yourself better than...
You know your vibe. You know your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I highly recommend it for anybody that if you had a chronic problem that's been going on for a long time and you want to get to the bottom of it, highly recommend. It was super easy to do. They give you a whole... I have a whole 3-month course of the supplements and how I'm changing them and everything. So I loved my experience.
Did you go on ClearStem, their regular site, to get the test done? Or how do you do that?
They have a link for it.
Okay, perfect. We'll link that. We'll put that up.
Yeah.
'Cause that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my bad week is really really good next to yours, Jack. I'm so sorry you're sick in your gut. Baby carrots aren't f***ing real.
Oh yeah.
Baby carrots don't exist. What is happening on Earth?
No.
That
we debunked this on another podcast. We've talked about this.
It's recently come back up in my life.
The guy who has the farm for baby carrots has a massive mansion in Newport Beach that I've seen.
Wait, it's not. No, Becca, it's big carrots shaved down to be babies.
She knows that.
We've talked about this.
But we talked about his mansion?
I need to talk about it again because it shocked me again. I forgot it.
He knew that they had to. So they get rid of imperfect carrots or whatever. So the farms, they can't sell the imperfect carrots. This guy realized that if he were to make a baby carrot out of an imperfect big carrot, he could make a fortune, which he did. And he has this massive, massive house on Balboa Island. And I've walked past it before. And I said to my friend who lives there, I said, this is the craziest. It's on the water, but then there's just land. There's just you either get one or the other in the world. Usually, it's you're on the ocean or you have a shit ton of land.
Especially Balboa is the most expensive part of Newport Beach.
And he said that's the guy who created the baby carrot. He has the farm that does the baby carrots.
Did he trademark the baby carrots? What if I want to shivel down a big carrot to a baby carrot? Is that not allowed?
I don't know.
He probably made his fortune a long time ago. That's when people could make it big with these stupid ideas.
It's so
true.
Is
way back in the day. You can't do that anymore.
No.
It just doesn't happen. There's no overnight millionaire success
You guys,
stories
what can
anymore.
we baby? Baby celery?
I think they already
baby
do that.
apples? Baby apples.
Well, people are also it's not genetic modification, but people are putting like apples and stuff into molds on their trees and then making like a heart apple.
Oh my
or,
God,
like,
I
a
love
star
that.
apple, or like a star cucumber.
You know, I grew 6 oranges.
Cool.
Wow.
No, I'm letting you know. Remember how I couldn't grow anything? My orange tree in my backyard had 6 oranges. I ate one. It was delicious. Organic.
Do you have to do anything to grow an orange from
You
an
know
orange
what?
tree?
That's rude. You have to water it and you have to make, I had to spray some bugs once.
I'm
Anyway.
mostly confused that your bad week after like you went to the Grammys, it was pouring down rain in LA. You like that it's about a baby carrot that we've already discussed on the LadyGang. You're
Sorry.
really not bringing your A game today at all.
No, okay. Can I do a second bad week?
Sure.
Okay. It's against the rules. So, well, no, I've been in such a good, I'm in such a good mood lately. You know, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, but you can be in a good mood and have like a hiccup here or there. You certainly said something.
Well, you better bring it with the good week. What's your good week?
Yeah.
Okay. No, my good week is not good. Okay, hold on. I'm going to give you another bad week. So my second bad week is that, yes, I just hosted my first E live from the red carpet, which was on my manifest list for last year and didn't happen. And I got asked this year. So girls, don't give up on your dreams. And I was super nervous about it because I'm so glad you prompted me for this because this is a better story. Sorry, Becca.
How could you even
She's
think?
like racking her brain. That's something I'd come up with because I don't do anything in my life.
Oh. So I got to rehearsal. So we did like a read through. This is crazy. So we did a read through on Friday. And so it was like Laverne Cox and like 25 producers, like everyone's on the Zoom. And we do a read through and we just kind of read the open of the show. And they're like, great, see you at rehearsal. And like they basically said in the meeting, like everything else will just be based on like who we see and whatever. So I had studied all week. I had spent like hours and hours going through each person, knowing what their nominations were, you know, backstory, when they'd been nominated, when they'd won before, like, you know, all the Keltie stuff. So I was like very, very ready. I show up on Saturday for rehearsal. I'm with Xana Roberts Rossi, who is as amazing as you expect her to be. She just knows everything. She had like all these sketches from the designers about what people were going to wear like 2 days before they even, it was just so cool to watch her work, like a true expert in fashion. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and we're doing the read through. It was like I had never hosted television before. Like I could not have been worse. I couldn't speak. I couldn't read the teleprompter. I kept screwing up. I kept adding things and they're like, please don't add anything here. And I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. Like it was, and I kept having to apologize for myself. And I was like, well, and I kept doing that thing where you're like, ha ha ha, that's why we rehearse. You know, when someone in a rehearsal goes, that's why we rehearse, it's because they're f***ing up so badly that they just want everyone to like take a breath and be like, she's going to be okay. But then the worst part was like, there was a whole other section of the script that I didn't read before that we didn't read in the read through that was all my stuff for brand stuff. I didn't know it existed. So I was cold reading it off the teleprompter. And then I was trying to say Ciroc, like, you know, Ciroc, the booze.
Yeah.
Ciroc limonata. And I was like reading the thing and it was like, I didn't know how to say Ciroc. I was like, like,
were you
it was
nervous?
Just, what?
Were you nervous? Is that why? Or you're
I don't
just like
know
brain
what
farting?
happened. I had a very busy week. I have low iron. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I just sucked. Like, I absolutely sucked to the point where I felt like when I left, I needed to kind of like write an email to the team to be like, hey, thanks for being patient. So I wrote and I was like, thanks for being patient with me my first time. And they wrote back a very nice message. They were like, hey, you're the only new person this year. So like, I know we went fast because like, we just assume everyone knows what's going on. Like, you know, and I was like, okay. So I was supposed to go to a party Saturday night with Chris. He was throwing this huge Grammy party. For weeks, I'd been like inviting people and I got home and I was like, I can't go. I need to study. Like I have to stay home. So I missed his Grammy party. I stayed home. I like memorized, studied everything for the show and like went to bed early and was like a good professional. Anyway, next day it's raining like crazy. It was raining so bad. I couldn't wear my shoes anymore. So I had to walk from the Ritz where I was getting ready to the red carpet barefoot, barefoot on the streets of downtown LA because couldn't get my shoes. It was so bad. Anyway,
downtown LA. Well, it was downtown.
We were at Staples Center. We were at Crypto Arena.
Oh,
yeah.
Gnarly.
So gross.
That's not good to walk
and there was so much water pooled that it was like up to my ankle bone. Like I was walking through like a little bath. Anyway, so we did the E-Live and I did such a good job and I was very happy with myself. And I only said one thing wrong. I can't remember exactly what I said.
I know,
it wasn't a pronouncer, guys. I hope you're so proud of me. It wasn't a pronouncer. It was a factoid. I said something that wasn't true. Like it was a fact. I came home and like watched a little bit with Chris, like rewatch it. And he goes, that's not true.
What did you say about the Grammys?
No, it was something about like a category or I can't remember now. Something about someone. Anyway. So I did a good job and I was happy and they're going to bring me back for another red carpet. So I feel like crisis averted.
There you go.
Here's my good week. My good week is my whole life. I've just wanted someone to bring me a cup of coffee or a tea in bed. Like I wake up every morning and Chris gets up before me and I was like, would it be that hard for him to know to just go upstairs and get me a cup of coffee and like bring it to bed so I don't have to get out of bed to get a cup of coffee to go back to bed?
To him?
No, I never have.
Okay.
Because I just didn't think it was. I didn't think it was a thing, you know.
It's a thing.
I was.
There's a lot of husbands around the world doing this.
Yeah,
my grandfather did it for my grandmother every morning of her life.
Right.
Yep.
And I said something. Well, I said something. So I said something to a friend of mine and I was like, it's just like, how hard would it be for him to bring me a cup of coffee? And she was like, well, no, exactly what you just said. No, our mutual friend, like he brings her a cup of coffee every morning. It's like he knows the way she likes it with the froppiness, whatever. Anyway, I was just thinking that in my mind. I didn't even like express it yet. And the other day, Chris just came downstairs with my tea the way I like it and just put it beside the bed for me. And I have never been more in love in that moment. It was the nicest thing. It was such a caring gesture and he never did it again, but we'll keep you
Tell him
posted.
that you liked it and he should do it
Tell
again.
him. Yeah.
I tried to make a big deal. I was like, it was so nice when you brought me, like I tried to do that thing where you like
positive
you know,
reinforcement.
I love it when you do me like that. Yeah. I don't mean to say that, but you know what I mean.
I love it when you do me like that.
Idiot.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Positive reinforcement.
Like a positive reinforcement.
My mom says all the time, they are dogs. They are dogs. They are dogs. They are dogs. It does not work to punish them. You just have to give them positive reinforcement whenever they do something right. And then they're like stupid idiot animals. And they're like, oh, I got a treat after this thing I did. I'll do it again.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So
I need to give Chris a treat. Anyway, I love you. And Chris Knight, you're great. Thanks for the tea. And all right, when we come back, Katie Flood from Below Deck is here. Woohoo!
The Lady Gang.
Our guest today is a Capricorn queen who has spent the last decade traveling the world and is one of our favorite Bravo celebrities. Starting on Below Deck Med, you asked, we answered. Our Lady Gang girls are obsessed with Below Deck and they're dying to have more Below Deck people. And then starring, of course, on Winter House. She's known for her quick wit, cheeky personality, and ability to get things done. Please welcome to the Lady Gang, Katie Flood.
Woo!
Welcome.
Intro and a half.
Well, we're so excited to have you. I have so many freaking questions. So I just want to start from like, how did you get started? And like, you were boating first and then Bravo came and like, tell me the whole origin story.
Yeah, so I've been yachting for, nearly 10 years. I was 22 when I got into the industry and just loved it. We call it the golden handcuffs. Like it's really hard to leave this industry. And then I think for about 5 years, the casting team from Below Deck had been contacting me and I just always turned it down. I was like, absolutely not into it. In the yachting industry, Below Deck was quite looked down on. Come again 5 years, I actually was working on a boat. I was super miserable. I had just resigned that day and I left the boat. And then casting reached out to me again. They're like, Katie, do you want to cast? We're in the final rounds of casting. And I was so like, yachting, I'm done with it. Let's do it. And I think at first I kind of did it as a joke. And then it started to get more serious and more interviews were happening. And then I was kind of like, oh shit, like there's a chance this is actually going to happen. So then I got offered, the position, and it actually took me a few weeks to accept it because I was just like back and forth. Do I want to do this? Reality TV, all that. And then I did it, and it was probably like one of the best things I ever did. So here I am.
I love that. No regrets, right?
No regrets.
So
Wow.
when they cast, because this is what's so interesting to me, because most reality shows, they can just be like, okay, we have our villain, we have our good girl, we have our whatever, and like throw them in a bar or a room. But you actually have to be able to do your job. And so when they cast you, are they like, okay, we're going to cast all these people in these different positions, like they knew you were a chief stew or like whatever it was. And then they were like, okay, Katie's going to be our this is going to be our captain. You guys were not a conglomerate that had worked together before.
No. So, I mean, I feel like when they do cast, I think there is a little bit of that because obviously they look at all of our personalities, like when they're putting, the crew together. So I think there's definitely an element of maybe not so dramatic to be the villain, but they're like, oh, this girl's going to spice it up, or this guy's going to be cocky. So of course there is definitely an element like that. But then at the same time, like yachting is a serious industry and a lot of accidents can happen. And Below Deck actually has to abide by maritime law as well while we're filming. So you have to have certain amount of crew on the boat, people with certain amount of tickets. So that's all legit. So I think they try to do that mixed with a little bit of like the personalities and what might work, might not work. So there's definitely a little bit of that for sure.
How much harder does it make your job having camera crew there versus when you're just regular yachting?
In that tight ass little space.
It is so much harder. Like, it's so funny. In the yachting industry, people think doing Below Deck is like a dream compared to being on a normal charter or on a normal private boat. But for me, it is the absolute opposite because technically you're doing two jobs in one. Like, you're doing your job. Like, we're actually on charter. Like, I'm actually running around like a crazy bitch. Like, that's all true. And then you've got cameras in your face, and then you have to do the extra filming stuff. You have to go out, and then the next day we turn the boat around, we do our green screen. So it's just like this never ending cycle of tiredness.
Wow.
That is so intense.
So like, what is your sleeping? Like, it's bunk beds in like one little spot. And like, what if someone snores? Like, what? Oh God.
I mean, yeah, that's the part that can be a bit tricky. I've always been really lucky with my cabin mates, and like now my roomie is Malia, so we're very comfortable.
Best friends, yeah.
But yeah, it's honestly easier when you're super comfortable around your roommate because we're always on a time crunch. Like, I need to come to the shower, come to the cabin, get showered, change into my night uniform, but Malia might be having to do that at the same time. So like, we're very comfortable with each other. We'll shower with the bathroom door open so she can do her makeup, and then I get out of the shower, she gets in the shower, So I think if you have that relationship with your roomie, it's a blessing because then there's no awkward moments and you guys just we all know we're in like a time crunch. But yeah, I don't know. I've been lucky. I've never had to share with a roomie that snores. So fingers crossed I don't have to do
Also,
that.
you just said you guys, so when you do Below Deck, you have to go out then? Like, that's required when your nights are off?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's quite hard because you're exhausted. And so that's kind of the recipe that works because, those crew nights out, that's when the crew get into arguments or something happens.
Yeah.
That's when drama actually happens. But you guys know what it's like. You're working long hours. You're exhausted. You throw alcohol into that mix.
It's how they make every reality show.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, because you're so tired, you do kind of black out a lot. Like the next day, I would ask production, I'm like, what time did I go to bed? Like, what was I doing? Because you just don't know because you're exhausted.
I have so many questions. I love the show so much. I'm very eager. Before you go on the show, I always think about it and I'm like, if I were to have an opportunity to go on a show like this or one of the others, like Winter House or Summer House, whatever, is there a conversation you have with yourself where you're like, how much fun can I allow myself to have knowing there's cameras around? Are you counting the drinks that you're having while you're on the show? I know some people really obviously they don't care at all that there are cameras around. You keep it together really well, but you still manage to have fun. So is that conscious that you're doing that?
I think the thing is with me, when I finally accepted like I was going to do this, you definitely have anxiety. It's something I've never done. You don't know what the end result's going to be because you sign your life away on a dotted line and they can show whatever they want to show. But the reality of that is like, when you see people blaming production for this and that, and yes, to a certain extent, but it's like, dude, if you acted that way, you acted that way. Like,
Right.
and I don't know as well. I was just really like honest with myself. I was like, I'm going to be true. I'm going to be me. If I say something can up, I'll own it and I'll move on. But like, I wanted to be real and authentic. Like that was something I said to myself, if I'm going to do this crazy thing, that's the only thing I can accept with myself no matter what happens after that. So like you do forget the cameras are around, like you really do. But I think as well, like in terms of my job, I do take my job seriously. So I think there was a bit of that in the back of my mind because I feel like if you compare like me on Below Deck to me on Winter House, I was so much more rogue on Winter House, like way more up, like really didn't care. But it was like I was there to do that. Whereas Below Deck, I was there to do my job and have fun. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly questioned myself when I watched it back. I was like, oh, I thought I was way more messy than that. But apparently I wasn't.
Oh, really? I
What a
feel like
nice
I have the
surprise.
opposite experience. I'd be like, wow, I thought I was really sober.
Oh, I love it. Okay, before I want to ask you about travel, like around the world, but I just have one question about, yachting is not for I would say normies. You know what I mean? Like you got to be a fancy person to be like taking a yacht charter. Actually, we got offered, someone a couple years ago was like, hey, Bravo has an open boat for a filming of Below Deck, and like you get it at a little bit of a discount because like there's cameras and stuff. We still couldn't afford it, even with the discount. We were like, absolutely
No way.
not. So you're traveling around the world. You're so beautiful. I mean, you're like model-esque beautiful. How often is a billionaire or someone that invented ketchup like trying to take you off that boat and take you back to the castle? I know you wouldn't, but like, of course.
There's been a few moments, like I think guests when they drink and, they're in that sort of state of mind, they definitely try it on with you. There's comments here and there. It's a really hard one to crack actually, because like you can feel really uncomfortable sometimes, even if you're like, I'm not attracted to this person. This is like, yeah, okay, cool. You're a billionaire, but like, I have to have an attraction. Like,
yeah,
it all sounds nice. Yeah, get yourself a sugar daddy, travel the world on a private yacht. Like, yeah, of course, legit, amazing, would love to. But like, I just can't do it. Like, I really struggle to be fake. So I just could never do it unless there was some sort of attraction or curiosity. So it can get really awkward because it's like you can't be rude to these people. So like you kind of just stand there and like politely laugh. But then that gets to an awkward point because you're like, how much more can I laugh this off until it's just straight bland awkward? But yeah, there's definitely been a few instances like over my years, but it's mainly when they're drunk, they try to shoot their shot or try to get your number or things like that. But yeah, I haven't found my billionaire yet.
Would you say
Let
that
us know.
Yeah, I want to know because you've probably been around way more billionaire males than most women. Would you say, like this is generalizing, but would you say that they're bigger weirdos than the average man?
Honestly, no.
Wow. Okay.
Just men are so weird in general.
She's like, no, they're all weird.
They all are weirdos.
Do you know what it is? It's the billionaires that are self-made, that have come from nothing, started their companies or whatever it is they're doing from the scratch.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually so normal. So like say they're the primary charter guest. It's the people they bring on with them that are have the ego, have the, the diva, but the people with the money are normally really humble, really lovely, always saying please and thank you. It tends to be the entourage or
it's the Anna Delveys. The Anna Delveys.
Yeah.
Or the famous people that have this persona, you know? And so that's something I've definitely noticed like over the years. But like I've met some amazing billionaires that are so lovely, so down to earth, really chill, don't even really want anything super fancy. Some of them are really simple. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see that contrast.
Wow. Interesting.
I love
Okay. Jack Vanek, who is our resident travel queen.
Yes.
She's a 7 on the Enneagram and loves to travel around the world. And so these questions are for Jack, but also, you know, maybe
For
us
me.
too. They're for you. I want to know your 3 overrated places that everyone thinks you need to go to that are beautiful, that are overrated, and then your 3 top places that nobody knows exist that we should go.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a Katie thing.
Number 1 overrated place I've ever been is the Maldives. That was like, it's so hard because I think it's so personal. But I was just so overrated. Like, yeah, it's beautiful, but it's like, what do? You sit on the one island. So all the islands are private. So if you're on your one hotel, you can't leave that island, and like that's all you can do. Like, I like to have the option to be able to do things, more culture. So that was definitely a disappointment in a way. Where else? This is a hard question.
What about like everybody goes to Greece? Like everybody, I think Greece is having like a big resurgence right now.
Greece is beautiful, but it is so overpriced. Like accommodation and shit there now, it's just becoming a joke. So like Greece is beautiful. I love Greece. But, you know, this whole Mykonos thing that's going off is just like, it is ridiculous. So, yeah. And I just don't feel a place like that is really cultured because it's just all these fake shamans and hippie people and this and that pretending to be someone they're not. All these people, it's kind of like that place. Like if you don't know somebody, you're worthless to anybody type thing.
Oh, interesting.
Where else? I've been to Albania, and I don't think anyone ever needs to go there. There was just...
What's in Albania?
Would not recommend.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know. I've been there, I think, twice, and I'm good, you know.
Where will you go on your honeymoon? What's your number 1 place?
Oh, I mean, 2 big places on my list that obviously I can't go now, but I really wanted to go to Israel and Russia. Those were like massive, massive places. So Israel has incredible diving. I scuba dive, so I was looking forward to that. But, you know, unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I would love to go to Mauritius, Madagascar. I would love to do more of Africa. Like Africa is just like so fascinating. And they have some beautiful parts as well. I don't know. I just feel like my list never ends.
Yeah.
Like I tick off more places and then more places I want to go. So I like anywhere in South America always. Like I just think Central and South America are probably my favorite places to like be around.
Nice.
Love that.
I love it. Jack, do you have any travel questions? Sorry, that's what I meant. I meant this one is on behalf of Jack, not Jack.
Like,
what's your favorite place to go
right now? I guess maybe for any like girls that are looking to travel, like what are some tips you have for women traveling? Because obviously, you know, it's 2024. Some places are really sketchy. Like, have you picked up anything while you've traveled just to kind of keep yourself safe?
A lot of things I've started doing now, which I never used to do, is the whole phone call on the taxi thing. Pretend to be on the phone. Hey, babe, I'm going to be home soon. Me and my friend actually did it the other night. We're in Tulum right now, and we're coming home from a festival. And we were just talking shit, basically, being like, oh, so-and-so is waiting for us at the house. Like, our boyfriends are waiting for us. Like, we don't have boyfriends. But, you know, it's just like little things like that I think is important. And always sharing your live location with someone has been a big thing for me now. And it can be somebody in the same country as you or just somebody. So I think that's like a really big thing to do now. And then just always educating yourself on the place you're going. Like always educate yourself. There's so much information out there. And then just being aware of like the time of day. Like, you know, and like who you're hanging out with, I think is a big thing. And just, you know, if it's late at night and you're at somebody's house, is it safe to stay there? And if it is, I would recommend doing that than leaving at 4:00 in the morning in a random place. So I think it's just being street smart. Like, just don't be a dick, you know, use your brain. Make sure you know what's going on. And I think, yeah, just the fake phone calls and the live location, I think is super important.
Yeah. I love it. All right. When we come back, we have the questions from the LadyGang Facebook group for Katie, and they're so good. Here we go. Our girls were so excited you're coming on. We did a big post in our secret Facebook group, and our 30,000 members have, you know, put some questions for you. And we're very excited to hear your thoughts on this. First of all, I know you had a boyfriend who had a tattoo face, your face tattooed on his arm.
Yes, Jack.
People want to know what's the status on Jack, and did he cover the tattoo? And
wait,
what did he
is the
cover it
tattoo
with?
on his face or is a face on his arm?
Face.
Your face.
It's on his arm.
Oh my God.
Where's Jack? What happened with the tattoo?
Still has the tattoo. We don't talk much anymore. But for the last time I did speak to him, he was always like, no, like I'll never cover it up. It was a time in my life. It was a good time in my life. We had a very like passionate love. Like I think he was my first proper love.
Yeah.
Would I ever be back with him again? No. Like I love him, but I can't. No, it was crazy.
Wait, I have questions. Does he have other people's faces on him, or you're like the only one and it'll be awkward when he starts dating somebody new?
So I do know since we've broken up, the girlfriends he's had after me have never been big fans of it. And I
Shocker.
No shit.
Shocker. You're literally having sex with this guy and I'm looking at Katie's beautiful face.
I do know they have asked him, I think, to, you know, change it or tweak it. And he's always said no. And I'm like, well, that's on you. That's not on me. So as I know right now, it hasn't been changed. He does have a new girlfriend. He's got a child now. He's living in the UK. And that's all I really know. Like, we really haven't spoken in like over a year, maybe longer. But all good vibes, like no hard feelings. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy moment in my life.
That's such a goal for like any woman.
Yes.
Is to have their face tattooed on somebody.
Damn.
And then everyone was like, what the f-? And I was like, yo, that's cool, man. Like,
I love it. I'm jealous.
Okay. The next question is, are you open to appearing on Below Deck again?
I think so, yeah. Like, it really was such an incredible experience. I do really enjoy the production side of it. Like, I found it so fascinating, and it definitely has taken me a while because it was so hectic, but I feel like if the time is right, the stars are aligned, I think I would definitely go back for another season at least.
Okay. Well, yes, please do that. And then also, so we had Tom Schwartz on E! News like 2 weeks ago, and I'd never seen him in real person before. I'd only seen him on the show. There's such an energy around this man, and so I completely understand your winter house little. And you went in being like, I want to have I want to have a fling. I want to have fun. I love that you picked Schwartz because I want to know. I mean, he has such the hair. It's like. He's hot. Would you ever consider a real relationship with him?
Oh, honestly, I fucking love that man. Like, I adore him so much, and we have such a good relationship now. Like, I feel like we absolutely nail the lighthearted, you know, I guess surface level relationship, because now I feel like we just have a lot of respect for each other, and it didn't end badly. It was very just like, okay, whatever. Could I date Schwartz full time? I honestly don't know. I I'm thankful for my time with him, and I'm glad that like we're friends now, and we'll hang out whenever we're in the same city. But I just feel like Schwartz has gone through so much in the last couple of years, and I just really believe, and I've said this to him, I'm like, I think you need more time alone to just really deal with everything, and just to do it in a really healthy way. But if he met somebody, like obviously like full on support that. I just think as well, our lives are very different. Like we do live very different lives. So I don't think he's my soulmate, but I do love him.
Would you text him if he started dating a third Katie?
I would give him so much fucking shit. Be like, I hope you're putting her through what I went through. Like, please.
You guys, we are of a certain age. They're the ratio of Catherine's to Katie's. Katie's are everywhere in our age group. My best friend's named Katie.
I met at BravoCon as well. People coming up to me, and I don't even think the whole name thing had aired on Winter House yet. And I was like, oh, this Katie thing is really haunting me at the moment. And it's funny because one of my exes, who's also from Minnesota, where Schwartz is from, his ex is also called Katie. And I was like, am I just cursed? Like, is this a curse? Like, what did I do in my past life? Honestly.
Oh my God.
I love it so much. I really want to ask you more questions about making out with Tom Schwartz, but I'm realizing that's like a little bit.
You're so into him, Keltie.
I know she's like,
I have always from even the show, I was always like, that's a very hot guy to me.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
he is
sexual.
He did lose a little of his hotness in the most recent seasons of Vanderpump, only because I think the divorce. And that's so mean to say that like he lost some of his, but he lost a little mojo, I think, when the divorce went down.
And I think that was the problem when we met. He had no mojo. He honestly didn't even feel good about himself.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't understand why this girl's so into me. Like he was like, it doesn't make sense, But no, he's so adorable, and he's just like, he is a really caring person as well. Like I know he's done some up shit on the shows. Again, I haven't watched the all seasons of Vanderpump. I've only watched season 10 when all the shit happened.
Yeah.
Purely because I was like, hey, what did I get myself into here? Like I had no idea. Like all this shit was happening while we were filming, and I was like, I thought I understood. And then me and Malia went and watched it, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Wow, awkward. So
do you have thoughts on Tom Sandoval?
I mean, I met Sandoval at BravoCon. I think everyone has thoughts on him. My main thought was, and I think a lot of people thought this, I met Schwartz, so I guess my loyalty laid with Schwartz. It seemed like Sandoval didn't have Schwartz's best interest at heart, and I think a lot of people agree that. So I think for me, I was just like, Tom, you might be better without this person in your life. But who am I? I'm just some girl that's popped in during the midst of your whole world blowing up. But out of just like a caring thing, but like when he was in Australia filming that Stars on Mars, I was talking to Schwartz then, like seeing, where he's at with Tom, and he's like, I do love him. And I'm like, okay, well, that's your choice. Like if you, want to continue to be a loyal friend, then like respect, and I think Schwartz has always been a loyal friend to him. I know they've had a bit of a break, but I think, they are trying to work on their relationship now. And I think just making sure it's a relationship working in the healthiest way. So I hope that's the case, and I hope that's still the case.
I love it. And these girls, Jack and Becca, they've still been my friend even when I do terrible things. So it's like sometimes you just have to love people through their terrible things.
Sometimes.
That's it. And like that's the kind of thing that really like annoyed me when this whole thing was blowing up, how much shit Schwartz was getting. And I'm like, dude, if my friend did something messed up, like yes, you have the conversation, like what the you doing, sort it out, but I am here for you, like I'm your ride or die. So I will support you in your lowest lows and just hope that we can figure this out together and you can get yourself out of this mess. So I think in that sense Schwartz did the right thing.
Yeah,
He did.
I agree.
Okay, last question. What are your thoughts regarding Corey and Sam breaking up after the Winter House reunion?
Happy. Absolutely happy. I think best thing for her, best thing for him. It wasn't 100% right. And I think more for Sam, because Sam, was definitely, I think, more in it than Corey. And it was really hard to watch sometimes what she was going through. Like, I've seen stuff off camera. I've had big talks to her before, and it just wasn't aligning with her life. And I just thought she could deserve so much better.
Yeah.
I love it. What's it like to be in the clubhouse with Andy? Like, was it so fun? You looked amazing. That red outfit with the crop top was insane.
I got that outfit like literally half an hour before I was meant to go to my call time, because like I had an outfit and then I was like, I don't want to wear this. I was like, I feel like this is all the same shit I've worn at BravoCon. I was like, I want something red and I want something now. So my friend's like, go down to Alice and Olivia. And I walked straight in. I was like, give me a banging red outfit. And they just pulled it. And I was like, perfect.
Oh, the best.
You look great.
I loved it too. Andy's so much fun, like Andy's Andy. Like, he's just the king of Bravo.
It really is. He really is. Well, I have loved chatting with you. Congrats on everything. I love that you're like living your TV fame life, but also like seems like you're living your regular life.
Yeah.
Like you have a star balance that is very, very respectable, Katie. And if you guys want to follow her, I know you do already, but if you want to follow Katie, you can follow her at katieflood on Instagram and all of her socials. And we hope that you will pop back up on our screens very, very, very soon. And thanks for taking the time with us and for the honest answers.
Yes.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy Tulum.
I know. Jealous.
I will.
I know, I'm so jealous. So do you just like travel around when you're not on TV and working on yachts?
Yeah, so me and Malaya are on what we call rotation. So we do 2 months on, 2 months off on our boat. So I've just come off my rotation. So we have a rotational partner. So I rotate out with another chief stew. So she just got back. Now I'm off for 2 months. So I came straight here. So I'm just going to chill out for a little bit. I've got a lot of friends here. And then I'm going to go back to New Zealand for a little bit because I haven't been back in like a year.
Wow. God, what a life.
Honestly, I picked the wrong life. Okay. We will.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.